This lesson will cover note names, sharps, flats, and half step and whole steps. In playing the piano, you need to know the note names and where they associate on the keyboard. So you have your keyboard here, and you have the white keys and you have the black keys. You'll be using the first 7 letters of the alphabet in order to play this instrument. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You'll first start off by hitting a C. And you can always find a C by locating the 2 black keys clustered together. You notice the 2 black keys here? To the left of that is a C. Now go up the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G. With G being the last note in the alphabet that we use, we need to start over with the A. A, B, C. And you keep going up the keyboard, as well as you go down the keyboard in the opposite direction. So this would be C, B, A, G, F, and so forth and so on. Remember, in order to quickly find the C, you want to locate the 2 black keys clustered together. C. One other quick tip is if you want to easily find an F, locate the 3 black keys clustered together. To the left of that is always an F. So C is to the left of this cluster of keys, which is 2, and F is to the left of these cluster of keys, which is 3. So again, you're using the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. But for all practical purposes on the piano, you want to start on a C, located to the left of the 2 black keys. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and so forth and so on. Now that we understand the note names and how they correlate to the keyboard, even though we're using the first 7 letters of the alphabet, there are actually 12 keys that we need to learn, or 12 scales that we need to understand in order to play the piano effectively. Remember, we started off on a C, which is to the left of the 2 black keys. C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 keys right there. Now we have to take in consideration the 5 black keys here. And you can look at these in 2 different ways depending on what the music calls for. This could be a D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, and a B flat. So that correlates the other 5 keys that you need to know. So that makes 12 keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 keys on the keyboard. Now we're going to talk about sharps and flats. Whenever you hear someone say sharp, flat, or you see a sharp or a flat on a piece of music, just know that when you sharp a note, you're going a half step to the right, or you're raising the note, and when you flat a note, you're going a half step to the left, or you're lowering the note. So just say from here I'm on C. When I go from this C and I go a half step to the right, or I raise it, that will be called a C sharp. Okay? Going to the right of a note or raising it would sharp it. So going from the C to here would be C sharp. Okay, now if I was on this D and I went to the left, or I flatted this note, that would be a D flat. So notice how this particular note has 2 names. It's either a C sharp or a D flat. Depending on the key, the scale, and the music that you're playing, that's how you would determine how to call each note correctly. So going from the right again, going from this C up a half step to the right is C sharp. Going from this D half a step to the left is a D flat. I'll go over here and choose a G. G flat would be a half step to the left. G sharp would be a half step to the right. And again, to sharp a note, you're going to raise it. To flat a note, you're going to lower it. And in that instance, I was centered around the G note. One more note, I'm going to do a B. Your B here, going a half step to the left, or flatting the note, would be a B flat. Taking that same B going a half step to the right, you're sharpening the B, so that would actually be a B sharp. Again, depending on the key signature and the music you're playing, this could actually be a B sharp or a C, because they're the same thing. Each note has two names. So here you have a C, you have a C sharp or a D flat as well. You have a E flat if I flat the E. I have a D sharp if I sharp the D. So again, the bottom line behind this lesson is that in order to raise a note, you will sharp it. In order to flat a note, you would lower it. And the sharpness would go to the right of the keyboard, the flatness would go to the left. Now we're going to go over the whole step, half step relationship. On the keyboard, you'll notice you have the white keys and the black keys and how they're all intermingled together. Going from one note to the next note, if there is a note in between them, that would be a whole step. So going from the C to the D, I have this note in between them. So that is a whole step. If I were to just go from here to here, that would be considered a half step, because there are no notes in between. Again, let's go over here. Going from the G to the A, that's a whole step, because there is one note in the middle. If I go from this G to the G sharp, there are no notes in between, so that's a half step. G to A is a whole step. B to C, there are no notes in between, so that is a half step. If I go from the B to the C sharp, that is a whole step, because you have this C in the middle. Again, a half step, there are no notes in between. Whole step, there are notes in between.